25 years ago, Jeff Bezos invested in a small startup called Google, which dominated the search ever since.
There's Larry, CEO of Google. Say something on there. Hi.
Walmart anticipation is building among investors now that internet search engine Google has filed plans to go public. But as we see in this report, Google is promising to raise big bucks without selling out its small company value.
Recently expanded into shopping with Google and has an email service, Gmail, in the works.
The difference is pretty stark, I think, relative to a lot of companies that came public amidst the dot-com bubble.
Google says it's launching its own artificial intelligence-powered chatbot to rival ChatGPT.
Google's Bard.
Google Bard. It's called Bard.
Google Bard.
We launched Bard as a limited access experiment on a lightweight large language model to get feedback and iterate.
Can Jeff Bezos' recent investment in Perplexity disrupt Google's search dominance in the era of AI?
Perplexity. It's an AI search engine startup looking to take on Google, raising $74 million in a round led by some big names.
Perplexity, an AI-powered search engine startup looking to take on Google, raising $74 million in a round led by some big names.
People started saying this as a Google replacement.
Ready, everybody? I'm not going to ask if the mic is working like in every talk so far. I'll just assume it's working. No, fuck!
Paul Graham, co-founder of Y Combinator, summarizes Yahoo demise in 2 steps. One is they had easy money, and the second one is lack of engineering culture. Yahoo was able to make tons of money selling their banner ads in late 1990s. And that's exactly when the dot-com bubble was happening and a lot of VCs were funding a lot of startups. And all these startups needed the same banner ads, which was helping Yahoo make more and more money. Remember the key reasons for the Yahoo's fall. We'll get back to it at the end of the video to understand and predict the Google's future. We use Google every day to find answers for our questions, but all we get is a bunch of hyperlinks along with a lot of ads. Perplexity tries to solve this problem by trying to answer the questions directly along with citations for the different contents from which it extracted the answers. It also has a copilot which helps us in the discovery phase of our search. When you ask a question to Perplexity, the first thing it does is it goes and finds all the relevant information from the internet, it's called search index, and finds out the relevant content from each of these documentation and passes these documentation to an LLM. Usually the LLM is something like GPT-4 or 3.5 that powers ChatGPT, and they also have open source models and their own custom models. The LLM is instructed to answer the question that you asked using this context and also cite this information. This helps Perplexity to answer the question in a very efficient way and also avoid it from hallucinating. Our first impressions of Perplexity are, it's super clean, super fast, it cites all the information which not all the other chat interfaces do. A lot of users have been super excited, and let's see what they think about it. But who's the man behind all these things, challenging Google's search dominance? It's Aravind from IIT Madras. Aravind completed his master's in 2017, did his PhD from UC Berkeley. He also has worked in companies like Google, DeepMind, OpenAI, predominantly in transformers, which powers the modern-day LLM. He also has invested in companies like Lauren Labs, Pichai, Suno, and many more. Perplexity is backed by some of the top investors from companies like Nvidia, YouTube, Gmail, GitHub, OpenAI, and many more. But how difficult it is going to be for Google to replicate what Perplexity.ai does? It turns out Google has an experimental feature called generative AI. Once activated, it lets user get answers directly to their questions and also cites all the content from which it got the information. In addition to it, it also gives what additional questions you may ask to these questions. How often we use the word Google it rather than search it? At my home, my boy, instead of saying search, he asks me, Papa, ask Google for this question. So Perplexity is going to have a tough time breaking this habit. It will be interesting to see how Perplexity is going to monetize the product. Today they will do a monetization using a monthly subscription. Is that enough to replace Google Ads revenue? Or they're going to bring in a different aspect to making revenue through ads in the product? I would like to end this video with two questions. Is Google going to make the same mistake that Yahoo did in the late 90s? The second important question is, these algorithms are trained on a lot of content over the internet. Will they maintain the same quality if the content creators are not incentivized? Since products like Perplexity, ChatGPT and Google are going to give them direct answers, which means users are not going to go to these websites. Would content creators stop creating content? If they do that, would these algorithms still maintain the same quality? It will be very interesting to see what happens.